What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios. Thanks for making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, streaming us up online at sportstalk1051.com. Got your smart devices like your Alexa devices. The app, download it, take it on the go. Video stream also up and rolling here on YouTube. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? We got lots to catch up on. A lot of stuff going down yesterday. Brewers picking up a win last night and gained one of their series against the New York Mets. 8-3 victory. Jacob Mizorowski only going 4 innings, giving up 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Pat Murphy kind of alluded to it before the game. Might be a little bit of a shorter outing, but after the game, kind of talked about maybe building him back up. Mizorowski said he kind of felt maybe a little off, compared it to maybe like spring training and such. So something maybe to kind of keep an eye on here. But nonetheless, you got to see Lance McCullers Jr. make his Brewers debut yesterday. He pitched 3 innings. Giving up 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, though. And then Cooper Pratt, what a day for him. 3 hits, including his first career home run. So Brewers giving their former teammate Freddie Peralta his 9th loss of the season and moving his ERA up to 5.01. Brewers back at it. And by the way, too, should mention, we are 100 games into the season, and the Brewers have the best record in Major League Baseball. So, don't know if that'll last, but hey, we could say that on July 21st, right? July 21st, the Milwaukee Brewers, 100 games into the season, have the best record in Major League Baseball. Dodgers, 63-38, win percentage of .624. Brewers, 63-37, win percentage of .630. Yeah, we'll take that, right? Definitely take that. So we'll recap last night's game and look ahead to Game 2 tonight. Brandon Sproat, now it's his turn to go up against his former team. He'll be getting the nod here tonight as the Brewers look to at least secure a series win against the Mets. Plenty of baseball chat coming your way. We got football to talk about, too, because yesterday the Packers locking up another one of their younger dudes who is looking for a contract extension. Devontae Wyatt, who was going to play on the 5th-year franchise tag this year, ends up signing a 3-year extension worth up to $57 million with a $20 million signing bonus. So Packers have been pretty darn busy so far this offseason. You had a contract extension for Isaiah McDuffie, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, now Devontae Wyatt. So it sure seems like next up going to be one Tucker Kraft. I would expect. I know there's probably some fans out there that are just freaking out that they haven't had it done yet. I feel pretty good that they're going to get it done. Hey, they're going to get it done at some point. Tucker Kraft is going to be playing for the Green Bay Packers for the next couple of years here. So, but we'll talk a little bit about this deal with Devontae Wyatt and the Packers as we get set for camp starting next week. So, your thoughts on the extension, and what are your thoughts so far, I guess, on kind of a busy offseason so far here for the Packers in terms of locking up some of their younger players, getting her done, maybe taking a little bit of a page out of the Brewers playbook here. I don't know, but we'll talk some football and look back at this deal and kind of break it down because, right, it's not about the total money and you can't simply divide 57 by 3. We'll kind of break it down what the cap hit's going to be and moving forward here. So football chat coming your way this morning. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday, so here you go. Here's your chance. Get it off your chest. Feel good about yourself. What's grinding your gears? Hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Again, that number, 715-830-1912. Or you can hang out in the Section 105 chat and chat with our other listeners and share your airing of grievances if you want on the in the chat room. So we got that. It is also a I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday. So best ones, send those on over. We'll read them up on the air. All right. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll chat with RJ Cardinal as we inch a little bit closer and closer and closer and closer to the upcoming Badger football season. But we'll talk some Badgers with Mr. Cardinal coming up in the 8 o'clock hour here. So we got that on the docket. And wherever else the conversation may lead us, right? You got anything that's at the top of your head, at the top of your mind, or a topic, a segment that you'd like to chat about? Hey, send it on over. All right, we're an open book. Let's do it up. What's on your mind here this morning? So that's your game plan. Let's get things rocking and rolling, shall we? We'll mix it up here. We got some Brewers to talk about. We got some Packers to talk about with the Devontae Wyatt extension. Some good stuff to break down. We'll recap last night's victory. Should we be concerned about Jacob Izorowski's short outing last night? Again, Pat Murphy kind of used that word, but maybe over-exaggerating, hopefully a little bit. So we'll take a look at that, talk a little Cooper Pratt, give him a big old tip of the cap. How about Joey Ortiz again last night with another home run? Man, Joey O, finding the bat ever since moving over to third base. Man, Garrett Mitchell, a couple of hits for him again last night too. Vaughn with a home run. Man, it's a good game last night. Good to see that from some of these dudes. So let's chat some Brewers and Packers. We'll be getting going here with the leadoff, but we got to take our first break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Nobody plans for an accident to happen, but when the unexpected happens, you want to make sure that you have a team that you can trust. And at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, they're proud to be locally owned and operated, providing quality collision repair and hometown service to drivers throughout the Chippewa Valley. Their experienced team takes pride in every repair, treating your vehicle with the same care and attention that they would give to their own. When you need collision repair that you could count on, choose the people who live and work right here in your community. That's Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. Locally owned, locally trusted, and here to get you back on the road. All right. Let's get the leadoff going here this morning, shall we? Let's talk a little Brew Crew, recapping last night's W against the New York Mets in Game 1 of their series. 8-3 victory for the Brew Crew. Jacob Mizorowski going just 4 innings, giving up 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. We'll talk a little bit more about Jacob Mizorowski here in just a skosh. Kind of give you a little bit of a background of why it was just 4 innings for him. But offensively for the Brewers, I mean, they got things going right away in the bottom of the first, adding a couple of runs to the board right away. Then you had Cooper Pratt in the second inning, adding a solo shot. 5 of the Brewers, 8 runs coming in the first 3 innings. And then the Brewers tacking on 3 more in the bottom of the 6th, including Joey Ortiz with another home run. Joey Ortiz, maybe it is the magic of just moving over to third base. I don't know. Garrett Mitchell collecting a couple more hits. Vaughn had a home run too. So between Cooper Pratt, Joey Ortiz, Vaughn, and Mitchell, it was a good night for those 4 up at the plate. But Peralta picking up his 9th loss of the season. He went 5 1/3, giving up 8 hits, 7 earned runs, and 2 home runs. Did strike out 6 and walked just a couple. Craig Yoho picking up his 2nd win on the season and career. We saw Lance McCullers Jr. get some action in too. He pitched 3 innings for the Brewers, and his first appearance for the Brewers, first inning, looked pretty darn sharp. His final line, giving up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, did strike out 4, did issue 1 walk. So, but everybody wants to know, why did Jacob Mizorowski? Why did Jacob Mizorowski maybe only go 4 innings? Especially after just having 13 days off. Pat Murphy kind of alluded to it before the game, that they would be mindful, kind of maybe watching how the usage of Jacob Mizorowski for this second half. And Murphy saying it's a big discussion. It's a big topic. There's been all sorts of concern, planning discussions, sidebar discussions about biomechanics, strength testing, all that. Thus, the reason for the layoff. Now, how do we ramp it back up? And Mizorowski after the game saying, I felt like I wasn't in my legs as well as I should have been. I felt halfway decent, good enough. We would have probably let him go, Murphy saying, to follow that up, we would have probably let him go forward if his delivery and his legs felt great. He didn't throw a command heater past the second inning. He was kind of coming off his legs and getting stuck and trying to get out of it. And then Murphy used the word concerning. Hopefully there's nothing concerning about that. And maybe it's just something, kind of getting ramped back up. And Jacob Mizorowski kind of alluded to, use the comparison of spring training, kind of ramping up and kind of feeling a little bit like spring training a little bit, just to kind of get back into the to the rhythm of everything. So hopefully nothing too concerning. Don't want to over exaggerate it. Don't want to make it anything bigger. But I mean, when the manager uses that word too, you kind of like take a step back. But hopefully maybe in his second turn through the rotation, it he'll maybe go a little bit deeper in that. But I mean, we talked about this, right? I mean, this is something that the Brewers are going to have to figure out, and something that they're going to have to game plan. How do you not overuse Jacob Misiorowski in these now final 62 games of the regular season? We are 100 games through this thing. What's the best course of action to preserve Misiorowski for playoff games, but also kind of keep your foot on the pedal? We talk about it for Green Bay a lot, right? But you still got things you have to accomplish in the regular season. You still have to, you can't relax. Still got to push forward. You still got to win these games. You still want to win the division. Now you're the top team in the National League by win percentage points. It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act of trying to still win and preserving some of your younger pitchers. Because I honestly believe that teams kind of look at the Dodgers from last year and say, man, look at how great they kind of looked, and how much of a boost was it that they got a lot of those pitchers back right before the postseason, and they had some healthy arms and ready to go. I think that was a big part of it. And I think now maybe the Brewers are kind of looking at something similar because, well, they have some depth with the pitching too. They have right now the ability to have a 6-man rotation, have relievers go multiple innings. So I think that is in the game plan. That's in the cards here for the Brewers going forward. And I think as long as, a lot of these guys, a lot of these pitchers, some of them coming back, whether it's like a DL Hall and some other starters like Kyle Harrison, that's an option that's on the table to maybe have shorter outings and maybe go with like a 6-man rotation to try to preserve some of this energy when they get to the postseason, because we know it. We all know it. You get to the postseason, you get into these playoff series, it shortens up the rotation, and you want guys to go out there as much as possible. I think long gone are the days of CC Sabathia going every 3 days and giving you like complete games and all these innings and just literally carrying his team on his back. I don't think the Brewers want Miz to do that. I don't think the Brewers are in a position where they have to rely on that. It's a different scenario. Brewers are just trying to get to the postseason. Now the Brewers have a little bit bigger goals in mind. But we'll see. Yeah, I think, in the next couple turns through the rotation, couple starts here for Jacob Misiorowski, kind of see where the game plan is. Does it affect maybe his chances of adding more wins to the win column? Probably. But I think they got a bigger goal in mind. And you kind of go to Adam McCulvey's latest piece, and it starts off that way at Brewers.com saying, win tonight is always going to be atop of Pat Murphy's daily to-do list, but as Jacob Misiorowski took the mound on Monday for the first time after a 13-day extended All-Star break, Brewers manager and his coaches also had a longer-term idea in the back of their minds. Win it all. I think that's the big part of everything here. But let's go back to Cooper Pratt here. Getting his first home run off of, getting kind of, I don't want to say burdened, but, cool moment to get that first home run. You can tell he was pumped about it afterwards. But look at what Cooper Pratt has been doing offensively here as of late here, too, for the Brewers. His last 48 at-bats, Cooper Pratt is hitting .313 on base of a .404, and he's slugging at .458. You narrow it down to his last 7 games, Cooper Pratt is hitting .348 and slugging .522. On the season overall, 86 at-bats, .267, on base of a .356, OPS of .716. Sure looks like he's getting more and more comfortable at the plate. And again, that was always the narrative surrounding him. That was always the talk surrounding him, is that this is a guy that defensively, the traits are there. Could be one of the better defensive infielders, shortstops in Major League Baseball. It was just the offense had to catch up. And I'm not saying it's caught up, but he just maybe more reps, more ABs, just getting more confident, more comfortable in that batter's box. Now you get the first home run of your career, off your to-do list. But having a 3-hit game yesterday, big old tip of the cap to him. And a big old tip of the cap to Joey Ortiz. His last 15 games, he's hitting .319. He's slugging .574. He has hit 3 home runs in his last 15 games. The resurgence of one Joey Ortiz, huh? Maybe. Gosh, this is going to be so kind of fun to watch for the rest of the season to compare his numbers when the season's over with, to compare his offensive numbers to when he was playing short and comparing it to when he was playing third. Is there something to it? I don't know. Is it more of a mind thing and a mental side of it all? Maybe. But we're all going to do it. When that season's over with, we're going to look at his offensive numbers for every game that he had at shortstop, every start that he had at shortstop compared to third base. And right now in the month of July, Joey Ortiz is hitting .288, on base of a .339, and he's slugging .519 in the month of July alone. Heck, in the month of June, he hit .250. And I think at the beginning of the year, a lot of us said, okay, if you just got to get like .250 from Joey Ortiz, it'd be acceptable. Well, that was the case in June, but he's up now in July here to .288. You take that, you run with that. If that's the offense you're going to get from Mr. Ortiz, 100% you take that, you run away with it, and you hope that that's what you're going to get going forward here. And then Andrew Vaughn last night displaying a little bit of that pop finally. He collected himself a couple of hits. I mean, he continues to, I know lately his numbers have been a little bit down in his last 7 games, just 176. But so far on the season, in 157 at-bats, Andrew Vaughn still hitting over 300, 312, 884 OPS. And then, of course, Garrett Mitchell just continues to roll, man. This is the Garrett Mitchell that we've been waiting for, that has been hyped here. You go to June, whole month of June, he hit .293. He slugged .507. July, he is on an insane pace in July. Absolutely insane pace. .397 batting average in July, .651 slugging, a .441 on-base percentage in the month of July alone. Can you say HOT hot? That's Garrett Mitchell right now. Insane. Absolutely insane. But we are 100 games in. 100 games into this season. I got to ask. Got to ask the question, kind of an informal poll question here, and I want your thoughts. Did you think, don't lie, but did you think we'd get 100 games into the season? Go back to March, go back to February. Did you think when we'd get 100 games completed that the Brewers would have the best record in all of Major League Baseball? 100 games into this thing. 100 games in for the Brewers. I should be a little bit more specific, so I don't need anybody to call me. Well, Dodgers, the same amount of wins. They've got one more loss, so they're over 100. 100 games in for the Brewers. Did you think they'd have the best record in Major League Baseball? No, I did not. I'm not going to blow smoke up your you-know-what. No way. I thought they'd be competing for a playoff spot, but we're talking about competing for the top spot now. The number 1 seed in the National League, for crying out loud, not just division, but to get the top spot. And I know this kind of gets talked about a lot. It's like, oh, how much, like every year it kind of brings up, how much of a difference is it for, 1 seed? Do you want to keep that momentum going? Well, maybe with a lot of their pitchers, they kind of want that 1 seed and get a little bit of R&R for some of those guys. Rest and relaxation. Might be kind of important now for the Brew Crew. 100 games in. Did not have it on the bingo card that we'd be sitting here on July 21st and saying, best record in all of Major League Baseball. Not just the National League, all of Major League Baseball. And you look at this schedule coming up here. Take advantage of it, Brewers. You have an opportunity to add a whole lot more wins to this thing. Let's talk some more Brewers. We got to take a quick break, though. We'll start to look at Game 2 tonight. We'll be right back after these quick words. It happens every year. 1 minute, you're grilling some brats or burgers. You're heading to the lake, watching the kids play some baseball or outside. And the next thing you know, you're shopping for school supplies and wondering where the heck did summer go? Before the backpacks come out and the busy fall schedule takes over, now is the perfect time to freshen up your home with new flooring from Carpet City Flooring Center right here in Eau Claire. Whether it's some soft, new carpet for the family room, durable, luxury vinyl for those muddy boots and busy kids, or some beautiful Rigid Max flooring to give your home a whole new look, the team at Carpet City Flooring Center will help you find the perfect floor for your family and your budget. Locally owned and locally operated, they know Wisconsin homes, and they're committed to making the process easy from start to finish. Make the most of these last weeks of summer. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today, because home is where Wisconsin families make their best memories. All right, game 2 of this Brewers versus Mets series. Can the Brewers at least clinch a series win, another series win? They're going to be hoping that their starter, Brandon Sprout, is up to the challenge of going up against his former ball club. On the other side of things, you got Zach Thornton going for the Mets. He has started just 3 games so far. The youngster, the lefty, 3 games so far for the Mets. But you look at it, he's 0-1, but he's got a 2.60 ERA. His latest outing coming on the 12th against Boston, where he went 7 innings and no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, a couple walks. Very solid start, quality start. June 26th against Philly, 6 innings, 5 hits, just 1 earned run, 7 Ks. And then his first start of the season, you got to go back to May 20th, went 4 1/3, giving up 4 earned runs here. So his last 2 outings, dude looks pretty darn good, pretty solid. So if we just use those last 2 appearances, offense might be challenged here a little bit. Should be a good challenge. The flip side, Brandon Sprout. You look at what he has done so far this season, 18 games, 16 of those he has started, 3-4 with a 5.16 ERA. And Brandon Sprout has definitely been a pitcher. I think of all the starting pitchers that the Brewers have thrown out this year, Brandon Sprout, if he's not the top one, he's got to be close to the top in terms of maybe consistency is the best way to describe it. A little up and down. You know, Pat Murphy's kind of called him out a time or two. He's responded. He's had some really good outings, some solid outings, and then it's like shorter, struggling here a little bit. I mean, his last 2 games, well, if we look at his last one against Pittsburgh, back on the 11th, he went 3 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. Before that, on the 5th, Arizona, 4 innings, 1 earned run. So far in the month of July, in those 2 games, he's got a 3.86 ERA. June was solid. In 5 games, he was 2-0 with a 3.46 ERA. His one poor game in that month was that June 17th matchup against Cleveland, where he went just 3 2/3 and gave up 4 earned runs in that contest. But after that, he bounced back nicely, going 80 pitches against the Reds and striking out 10. Then the next game against the Reds, he went 106 pitches, struck out 7. So I think Brandon Sprout, I mean, he's probably a little bit jacked up tonight, a little bit motivated, wants to show his former team you made a mistake at trading me, or maybe he's happy because he is with the Brewers now too. You know, all things tend to work out more times than not, or sometimes, depending on how you approach it. But it's just natural. You're like, hey, going up against my former team, I want to show off. I want to showcase my stuff. I want to showcase my talent. I want to showcase what they're missing, that they should have valued me a little bit more. It's all natural. That every athlete is going to, they can downplay it publicly, but you know, there's that part inside of them that just wants to show off, showcase their skills in front of their old team. So I'm excited to see what Brandon Sprout is going to do against his former ball club for tonight. And you look at it, both these lineups, they're going in unfamiliar territory against these pitchers. Mets maybe have a little bit more of an advantage because Sproat was within their system, so they're a little bit familiar in terms of the scouting reports and such. But let's let it decide on the field. That's all fun. That's all great that they have a little bit of an inside track that way. Ain't going to mean anything if they can't produce on the field, though. But 100 games in. Going back to the question I threw out to you before the break. 100 games in. Are you surprised? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, surprised that we're talking about the Brewers' best record in all of Major League Baseball? Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that they're in a playoff chase. I'm not surprised that they're maybe exceeding expectations again. But, I mean, come on. The best record in Major League Baseball, 100 games in? No, I did not have that on my bingo card. And I get it. Maybe I'm overhyping it a bit because you're literally talking about one loss between them and the Dodgers. But 100 games in, it's a nice round number. You can kind of look at this. We're on that stretch run with just 62 games left to go. And depending on how this season goes, I don't know how the rest of the season is going to go, postseason and in the future. But you look at these last couple of years, for crying out loud, you kind of wonder. What's the difference? Is it straight up just Pat Murphy? Is it Matt Arnold? I think it's both. I think you have, Matt Arnold had a year with Craig Counsell. But it just seems like, from an outside observer looking at it, it just seems like Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy work so well together. And I know we only had 1 year of Matt Arnold and Craig Counsell, but it just seems like Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy attached at the hip. They work so well together. Pat Murphy's probably going to get most of the credit, and rightfully so. I ain't going to argue that. But, I mean, you look at some of the moves and some of the decisions and some of the trades that this team has made, maybe specifically this past offseason. You got to give your flowers, and you got to give some credit to the general manager here too. But whatever Pat Murphy is selling in that clubhouse, whatever he's telling these players, whatever he's, telling his coaches and what his coaches, the Chris Hooks and of the world, whatever he's doing, it's working. And you just it's a what if. Man, what if Pat Murphy was a manager earlier? I know he was like interim with the Padres and all that, but you kind of look at like how do they continue to do this? Number one for a lot of people is going to be Murphy. But I think you got to look at their scouts. I think you got to look at the front office, Matt Arnold, some bold decisions, some bold trades this past offseason. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. When Isaac Collins got traded, there were some fans like, really? I mean, this guy was a Rookie of the Year candidate. Then Caleb Durbin got traded, and you're like, what are we doing here? Another Rookie of the Year, finalists, and we're trading these guys? And I know Caleb Durbin, I mean, dude hit a monster home run last night. He has definitely been playing well as of late. You got to give Caleb Durbin a ton of credit for bouncing back, but man, it's just something Pat Murphy is brewing with this team over the last couple of years, and again this year. And I know everybody's thrown out, we've talked about this at times. Is it because of the youth buying in? Him being a college coach? Of course, that all factors into it, but it's still really, really impressive. All right, you can join in on the convo. There's two ways to join in on the conversation. Hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or hit us up in the Section 105 chats on the video stream. We got to take a quick break, and we'll start to wrap up the first hour. We got to talk about Devontae Wyatt's contract extension for the Packers coming up in the next hour. That leaves one guy left. Sure kind of seems like Tucker Kraft is next. Thought Tucker Kraft was going to be next beforehand. Packers just going down the pecking order. Don't freak out, Packers fans. Okay, Tucker Kraft's going to get done. I'm like 99.95% sure that's going to get done at some point. Okay? I know there are some people, it'll get done. But the Packers just going through the list. Check, 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 check. They've already locked up more people than I thought they were going to. So, but we'll hit that up in the next hour. Quick break as we start to wrap up that first hour. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. If you're from Wisconsin, you know there's something special about this time of year. Days are getting a little bit shorter, evenings maybe starting to cool off here a bit, and before you know it, hunting season's going to be here. Believe it or not, it's coming. That means now it's the time to get your gear ready. Whether you need a new firearm, ammunition, optics, or just maybe some expert advice, make Tilden Gun your first stop. The folks at Tilden Gun, Sean, Hunter, they're not there just to sell you equipment. They're hunters as well. They know what works. They're happy to answer your questions, and they'll help make sure that you're ready long before opening morning arrives. So don't wait until the last minute. Stop by Tilden Gun, get geared up, and start counting down the days to another great Wisconsin fall. Tilden Gun, helping Wisconsin hunters make the most of every season. Happy hunting and good luck this fall. We got about 8 minutes left to the top of the hour here. Don't forget, it is also a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what the heck is grinding your gears, peeps? Let us know. Get it off your chest. Also, it's a I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday. So best ones we'll read up on the air. Okay. Got a couple of messages. We got Surveyor Sam. Survey, by the way, you didn't respond to C-Bomb's trash talk yesterday for golf. But Surveyor saying, if the question is the question, would I have believed you if you said it back in April? I probably would have said I doubt it. I doubt that they are best, but it wouldn't surprise me and Murph I trust. C-Bomb says, I have to admit I am surprised. I think we all thought the Brewers would take a step back, but instead they continue to do what they did all of last year. Let's just hope this isn't the Peyton Manning Indianapolis Colts that dominate the regular season only to flop every year in the playoffs. As you've discussed before, expectations have shifted. Getting to the playoffs is no longer the goal. Winning a playoff series is no longer the goal. The team needs to play for a championship. Continue to send us your thoughts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or the Section 105 chats. Reminder, Brewers tonight, Game 2 between Brewers and Mets, 6:40 first pitch. You can listen to that game right here on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Coverage will begin about 35 minutes prior. Brewers looking to at least secure a series win with a win tonight. So, yeah, we'll save the Packers chat because I'm running out of time here for the top of the hour. So we'll save the Packers chat for next hour here with Devontae Wyatt signing a 3-year extension with the green and gold. Lots to kind of break down with that news from yesterday as we get set for Packers training camp beginning next week. First practice next week. Teams already reporting this week, even today, rookies in that, because, well, some teams with a new head coach can start a little bit earlier, but also teams like Panthers, Cardinals, they got the Hall of Fame games, so they're going to be starting up here a little bit earlier too. So, gosh, it's still hard to believe that we're going to be talking about preseason games here in a couple of weeks. Family night already too. First, right after the Kasper Classic. Man, summer's just flying on through. Speaking of the Kasper Classic, by the way, did have to open up one more spot in the 10 a.m. group. So if you have not signed up yet, or maybe you did for 1 p.m., but you're like, hey, I'll play 18. I'll play 2 spots. I'll play 2 rounds. We got one more opened up in the 10 a.m. spot. So get to our website at sportstalk1051.com. Click on the Kasper Classic icon and sign your team up. We just have a couple left for 1 p.m., so it's going to be on track to sell out for a 6th straight year. 6th straight year. Or we still got a few more for that 7:30 a.m. slot here too. So all the details for just $90 for your team, not per person, per team. So you and your buddy Joe can split the bill in half, $45 per person. That includes your round of golf. That includes your cart. That includes your meal. That includes some beverage tickets, all that fun stuff. Just go to our website, sportstalk1051.com, and get your 2-person team signed up for the Kasper Classic. That's coming up on Friday, August 7th. Friday, August 7th, 2 weeks from this Friday. So title belts are sitting here. Got some raffle prizes, too. If you'd be interested in donating a raffle prize to help benefit Backyard Dreams, please reach out. I would love to get a bunch more so we can continue to raise some funds for Backyard Dreams. So, Rando from Chippewa Falls says, grind my gears. The NFL is not putting real grass on all the fields, but they could for FIFA. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of players complaining about that too. So, all right, continue to send those grind my gears as well to the Shoe Doctors bullpen line or on that section of 105 chats. We'll get back to some more of those coming up a little bit later on, but we wrap up. We got a couple minutes left with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Kasper, that's a unique green choice.
Why?
I've never seen you in that color before.
It's a Kelly green.
You would call it a Kelly green?
Yeah.
I would call it faded AstroTurf. Like if it were a paint color, a little bit. It looks a little bit.
That's straight up Kelly green.
All right, if you say so.
Kelly green.
You're the fashionista. Hey, speaking of fashion hot takes, you can wear denim on denim.
Canadian tuxedo?
Yep.
Okay.
And what do you think? Yes or no?
I used to.
Really?
Middle school.
Talk to me.
No, it was just like when you had to dress up for basketball, you had like a denim long sleeve and jeans and tie. So
Okay, so what do you think about the dressing up on game days trend?
I like it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I like wearing a tie, though. I like wearing a jacket.
Why don't you wear one to work?
I don't want to do that at 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah. You don't. You have a certain time frame that you can dress up in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about this? Everybody should want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
You think so?
I wish I could do it more.
Okay, if you're a travel guy, are you a check bag or a carry-on luggage guy?
Don't ask me airport stuff because the last time I was in an airport was 2000, so I have no idea how that process works.
The planes still go in the air and you still pack a suitcase.
I know, but the process, I don't know.
Okay. Are you one? You seem like a control freak, though. So
yeah,
you're one of those.
I need to know going beforehand. I don't like that, not knowing.
So you just strike me as you want your bag with you in the overhead compartment. Mm-hmm. You don't want to check a bag in case there's the risk of it getting lost or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be the guy that's trying to shove it above the overhead compartment and everybody else is waiting in line?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Own your control freakdom. How would you feel about this? If you don't have your blinker on, your car wouldn't turn. Ooh, hot
I like
take.
that.
What do you think?
I like that because that annoys the crap out of me. And Veronica does that at times too.
Turns without blinking?
Yes.
So you're a big blinker guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Basic road laws. Just it's basic.
Biggest pet peeve? No blinker?
I don't know if it's my biggest pet peeve.
You know what my biggest pet peeve is, I think, that I just realized the other day because someone did it and I just about lost my mind and I'm not usually like a road rage person. People that turn slow.
Oh, yeah, that's like, Veronica's big one, too.
You're not going to tip over. Yeah. Turn the vehicle. What is with that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably my current biggest pet peeve. Mm-hmm. All right, pizza. Deep dish is the best. You're shaking your head.
No, that is disgusting.
Make Medford proud. What's the best?
Well, I mean, mine is thin crust.
What?
Yeah.
That's no one's favorite.
That is everybody's favorite.
No, it's not.
Okay, pull it up.
What about stuffed crust?
Once
or is that too much?
Once in a while. Once in a while.
Okay. Deep
Not
dish.
every time.
What do you think
deep
about
dish, no.
Detroit that has like the no crust on the sides, but it's still deep dish
I don't
style?
mind that.
That's kind of a nice go-between. That's a compromise pizza right there.
Yeah.
But thin?
Thin
no.
or just like a pan. We don't need to go deep dish with, no, that's disgusting.
You're wrong.
No. I think I'm right. I am right.
I don't think so.
All right. Thanks, Margs.
Anytime.
1 in, 2 more to go. We'll be back. Second hour kicking off right now on this Tuesday morning of July 21st. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, streaming us up online at sportstalk1051.com. Video streams rocking and rolling. The app, you got your smart devices like your Alexa devices. Multiple ways for you to be tuning in. That Shoe Doctor's bullpen line is up and rolling as well. You can hit us up 715-830-1912 or hang out in the Section 105 chat. All right. We've got Tim in the Cooley region saying, I'm shocked at where the Brewers are this season. 10 out of 10 shocked. I thought they would be in a wild card chase with the Cubs leading the division. They continue to develop talent through their farm system and surprise the rest of the league. Nothing more fun than seeing the frustration of Cubs fans as the Brewers continue to win. C-Bomb says, thin crust for the win. Who wants a loaf of bread with cheese on it? Yuck. Yeah, if you want to chime in, are you a thin crust or are you deep dish? All right, so you can either hit us up with your picks on the texting line, or hang out with listeners in the video stream chat room. That sometimes gets hard for me to monitor because there's so much back and forth and I miss and I get sidetracked. So you can chat with fellow listeners in that chat room. So I'm going to talk a little Devontae Wyatt with his contract extension coming up here in just a skosh. We spent the first hour talking all Brewers as the Brew Crew picking up a win yesterday against the Mets. They will look to do the same tonight and at least secure a series win against the Mets later on tonight with Brandon Sproat, former Mets, starting for the Brewers tonight. I want to go and kick off this hour, though. Well, first of all, continue to send me some of your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, because it is Tuesday, so it's a Tuesday I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. But also, it's a Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. And I'm going to go, my Grind My Gears Tuesday is Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Apparently now, so over the weekend, there was this at Fanatics Fest. He, slapped Logan Paul. Okay. And then there was the flag football thing between those two. But now there's reports that Tom Brady and the WWE are in talks for a potential partnership. Are we seriously going to have Tom Brady join the ring in WWE? What are we doing here? Okay. Now, that could actually be a Wednesday. What are we doing here? But really, can we just stop? Brady, all right, continue to call games. Go be an owner for the Raiders. You're all over with the card vault and doing this. You're dabbling into this. Tom Brady and okay, so I'm not a big WWE fan. I'm not a wrestler fan. But I gotta ask Justice and Brandon, who are probably the two friends that I know are the biggest WWE fans, what their thoughts are on seeing Tom Brady in a WWE ring, if that is the case. But why? Gronk, that made sense. Rob Gronkowski, that made sense. Tom Brady, no. In a WWE ring, why? It's all about the money. It's all about the brand for him. That's what it's coming down to, right? We all know this. It's just kind of annoying. So I feel like if you were annoyed with Tom Brady to begin with, you're probably more annoyed at this point in time too. You have to be, right? So that's what's grinding my gears. Brady in WWE. Come on. Again, I'm not a big WWE fan. I don't follow it unless Hulk Hogan is alive and still wrestling it, or Undertaker, or any of those. No. So it shouldn't bother me. I'm more annoyed at the fact that he's going to, pun intended, jump into the ring here. It makes no sense. Except for the money aspect. That's where it makes sense for him. But, all right. So, continue to send us your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesdays. We'll get back to some of those coming your way a little bit later on. Catching up on some of the texts, though, about the Brewers. We had Ben saying, I'm a little concerned about Pat Murphy's comments, saying he was concerned about Jacob Mizorowski's outing last night. Hopefully it's a lot to do about nothing. Tim texting in saying, this is why I think the Brewers still need to go out and get another starting pitcher or long relief bullpen arm. I think they're going to shorten up a lot of their starts for their current starting pitchers. Ugh, spit it out, damn. Another texter, don't have a name, can't give you the cred. Don't forget to give a nickname or a name to your text so I can give you some credit if you're comfortable with that. But saying, fun to see Cooper Pratt hit his first home run of his career. Hopefully he continues to produce at the plate because it has been a big boost, I think, for the offense to see Joey Ortiz and Cooper Pratt contributing. I think it probably takes away the need for the Brewers to go get a left side corner infielder by the trade deadline. Yeah, I feel like that's not going to happen anymore. I don't see that happening anymore. Especially if Joey Ortiz, I know you can look at the longer track record, but and again, looking at who's potentially available, I don't see the Brewers going out there and making a play for another power bat that is on the left side of the infield. Speaking of power bat left inside the infield, Steve had texted in, have you heard anything about Andrew Fisher and him either being extended or called up? Now, this was, I'm assuming you're referring to what was going on Twitter yesterday. So Andrew Fisher, one of the great Brewers prospects, like 17 hours ago, because I'm on his Twitter page now, all he did was tweet an emoji of sunglasses with the smirk and, like the big eyes. And then from The Athletic, Stephen Nesbitt tweeted, the Milwaukee Brewers are doing it again. To which people then started to contemplate, throw out scenarios, throw out ideas, throw out what does this mean? Were they promoting Andrew Fisher? Were they locking up Andrew Fisher? Jesus Madej? What? Well, for what it's worth, Nesbitt last night followed up with his tweet saying they're doing it again with a screenshot of the Brewers now ahead of the Dodgers for the best record in Major League Baseball. So it seems like maybe Andrew Fisher was having a little fun or just straight up talking about, the Brewers and what they were doing. Still continuing to win games, but maybe having a little fun with social media too. Some people like to do that. So I think I think it's spiraled out of control, to answer your question. And I think a lot of people were trying to connect the dots. It's like that GIF, meme, whatever we're calling it, where you're trying to connect all these certain dots and try to figure out exactly what they mean or what's going on here. And I think it was much ado about nothing. All right, let's switch gears here, though. Let's take a quick break, and we got to get into this contract for Devontae Wyatt. Let's talk about this. Packers locking up another one of their younger players. It has been a busy offseason for the Green Bay Packers. And honestly, they've made moves I'm surprised they actually did. This is going to be something to watch, I think, in the next few years, how all this is going to work under the salary cap. I'll explain that and more coming up after we take this quick break. What's the latest and greatest on sale at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire? Well, let's take a look at what's up on the flyer. How about $5.99 for packs of Bubbler? That's a huge hit in our house. What's your favorite flavor? I probably got to go with, I'm a big mixed berry guy, so take advantage of that, especially if you need a little bit of a boost of energy, maybe a little quenching of the thirst and all that fun stuff there. Also, you've got $8.99 Hy-Vee Choice Reserve Boneless Beef New York Strips. $8.99 for an 8-ounce. That's a heck of a deal. How about $3.99 Kraft Macaroni and Cheese 5-packs? Quick meals for the kids, especially if they're still continuing with baseball, softball games that are still going on here as we start to wrap up summer. It's still warm out there, so $6.48 Hy-Vee ice cream gallon. Yeah. How about 99-cent hot dog packages for quick throw out on the grill if your kiddos are big hot dog fans? $3.99. Here we go. $3.99 Tombstone, DiGiorno Classic, Jack's Rising Crust Pizza. I think Hy-Vee's got the best deals when it comes to frozen pizzas. Got to load up that garage freezer with some of those frozen pizzas. So you can check out their flyer by heading on over to Hy-Vee's Facebook page. And don't forget, too, with Hy-Vee Perks, you can save some money at the gas pump. Fill up that tank, go shopping, do a little grocery shopping at Hy-Vee, add up all those fuel perks, and save at the gas pump, baby. So, okay, let's, by the way, too, since we're talking football, I am going to put together, okay, I'm working on it, details to come, but maybe you saw it on the Sports Talk Facebook page last night. I'm chatting with some peeps, but we are going to do a 7-1-5 fantasy football league. Probably going to have, depending on the amount of interest, probably going to have multiple leagues. But we are working on it. So details to come. It's going to be first come, first serve. Okay, first come, first serve for these signups. There's nothing open yet for the signups, so just details to come. Probably what I'm going to do is give you the info and the codes in different ways, whether it's the new newsletter that I got going out there, the Wisconsin Sports Verdict. Probably throw out a key phrase, keyword, the link to sign up there. And you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be, you got to listen to an episode of the podcast, the Man Cave podcast too. So just giving you a heads up. Kind of want to have fun with this, make it big, multiple leagues, all that good stuff. So, all right, let's talk some football here. Yesterday, the news, Packers locking up Devontae Wyatt. 3-year extension, $57 million, $20 million guaranteed. Now, we don't have all of the details yet. The breakdown of this contract. We know the guaranteed portion of it. Just as a reminder, if $20 million is the signing bonus and guaranteed, and let's say that is the only guaranteed portion of his contract. Yeah, $20 million signing bonus, that's guaranteed. If that's the only guaranteed portion of that contract, he's going to get $20 million up front. The cap hit for that, you take 20 divided by 3. If that is the only guaranteed portion of his contract. So you're talking what? Just under $7 million. Right? So there's going to be more details to come with this. And I know there were fans out there like, oh, that's too much money for a guy who's been hurt. Okay, I get it. But I also feel Devontae Wyatt is their best defensive lineman. He is their best defensive lineman currently on this roster. It is not a long-term commitment to Devontae Wyatt. They're not locking him up for 5 years at $100-some million. I think there's still more room to grow for Devontae Wyatt. And part of these deals that we have to remember is a little bit is of what have you done lately, but also future, the prospect, the potential. And I think they are big believers yet in the potential of Devontae Wyatt. And there was an interesting graphic that was floating around Twitter yesterday. And it's advanced statistics, advanced numbers, because I think I'm going to probably call out some fans with this, but I think a lot of maybe fans look at the very basic numbers and stats when it comes to a guy or when it comes to any athlete. And there was let me see if I can find it here. I should have saved this, but there was a graphic. Here it is. Defensive interior pass rush and run stop percentiles spanning the last 2 seasons. So it's one of those graphs. It's, kind of the 4 sides. And if you're in the top, I'm going to try to explain this, but if you're in the top right corner, you're in some pretty good company, because you're talking about Cam Hayward, you're talking about Cleus Campbell, you're talking about Ed Oliver, Franklin Myers. And the higher up you go into that right corner, the better. Devontae Wyatt's right there. He's right there with Simmons from Tennessee, Williams, Hayward, Buckner. Devontae Wyatt's name is right there. What does that mean? Well, defensive line interior percentiles, pass rush win rates, run stop rate percentile. You factor all that in there. According to these numbers from the last couple of years, he's one of the better ones. One of the better ones in this league. Yes, he's got to be on the field more. He has got to stay healthy. The Packers need him to stay healthy. He is a key player. I will argue he is one of the biggest keys on this defense because of the unknown depth behind this group. He began his career in 2022. All right, 16 games. 2023, 17 games. 2024 was 14 games, but last year just 10. So you hope that this past year, not the beginning of a trend. But there's no arguing, too, with the numbers, too. I mean, from his standpoint, 5.5 sacks, 5 sacks. Last year in just 10 games, he had 4 sacks. He is the best pass rushing interior defensive lineman on this team. And he's pretty good at stopping the run, too. He is their best interior defensive lineman. And I think this is a contract. If he hits the potential, if he hits the marks that Green Bay's expecting, I think we're going to be potentially looking at this contract and saying that might have been a bargain. And Wyatt is probably going to hit free agency. Yeah, he'll be around 30, but he's going to be able to hit free agency and still make some extra moolah if he hits that potential. I think there's still more left, untapped potential from Devontae Wyatt that I hope Jonathan Gannon can get out of this defense. That Jonathan Gannon can get out of him. I hope, because I think it's there. But you look at the depth of this group, and that's where I think he is such a key player to this defense. When you look at key players' defense, yes, Micah Parsons is there. Okay? Micah Parsons is number 1. After that, though, who are the most important defensive players on this team? I would say it's Wyatt. I would say it's Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, those guys. And it's going to be Devontae Wyatt. His play is going to be so crucial, especially the first few weeks of the season with no Micah Parsons. He is going to have to wreak havoc on that defensive line. And hopefully, when Micah comes back, That's going to be a force to be reckoned with. That front seven between Micah, Wyatt, Cooper. I like the signing. I like the move. And in fact, I'm surprised when you look at this offseason so far that Green Bay has put together, re-signing Jaden Reed, or extending Jaden Reed, extending Christian Watson, adding another year to Isaiah McDuffie, Devontae Wyatt extension. You go back to the winter when we were talking about this, you're like, okay, probably Tucker and then Watson, maybe Wyatt, probably not Reed. Well, now it looks like Goody and Russ Ball, they're going to sign everybody. So I think if you're a Packers fan, you got to appreciate the fact that, hey, they're going out there and they're locking some of these guys up. You look at next year, the players that are scheduled to be free agents, really Tucker Kraft is the big one out there. And I am 99.95% confident Tucker Kraft is going to be a Green Bay Packer for the next few years. It's going to happen. But Green Bay has locked up a lot of their younger players now. Because you look at next year's scheduled free agents, take away Tucker Kraft, you're looking at, okay, Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon. Next year, right now, yes, we're going to be talking about probably a corner being a big priority for Green Bay in the offseason. Because I can't see Green Bay bringing back Carrington Valentine. Maybe if he has a ball-out year, maybe Keyshawn Nixon is back on a cheaper deal if he chooses to accept that. But Green Bay has locked up a lot of their key pieces moving forward. And they're doing it early on so that we may be looking at some of these deals like, hey, Jaden Reed, got a bargain on him. Christian Watson, man, got a bargain on him. Devontae Wyatt, man, got a bargain on him. I don't think they'll get a bargain on Tucker Kraft. That's the one that they may not get a bargain on. Right now, his market value, according to SpotTrack, is $15.5 million per year. And I think you look at some of the other tight end values out there, contracts that have been signed, it would not be a surprise to see Tucker Kraft probably a top 5, top 3 paid tight end, depending on if it's guaranteed money, average per year, or total money of the contract. But I think Goody and Russ Ball, with what they've been doing with some of these contracts, they've been doing a good job of locking up some of these guys for the next couple of years, few years. They recognize that the window is now. And they want to keep some of their key players so that hopefully they can take advantage of this window. They're doing their part. Goody, Russ Ball, the front office, they're doing their part in trying to build a championship roster. Their part is identifying these players, whether it's through draft or free agent signings or trades, and then signing them, locking them up. Was it last year, year before? Yeah, 2 years ago when Goody made the famous line, it's time for us to compete for championships. I think he's doing his part. It's just up to coaches, players, and a little bit of luck in terms of health for them to do their end of the bargain, if you will. All right, we got to take a quick break. Your thoughts on the signing, you can hit us up. Let us know. We'll be back in just a few minutes. When your vehicle needs attention, make it easy on yourself. Just trust the team at AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. With 2 convenient locations, AJM makes taking care of your vehicle, truck, or SUV simple. Need service? Scheduling an appointment is quick and easy. Just visit ajmautomotiveservices.com and book online when it works for you. And if the unexpected happens and you're stuck on the side of the road, AJM's Towing Services is there to help you and your vehicle where you need to go, get you to where you need to go. From routine maintenance to unexpected repairs, AJM Automotive is your local partner for honest, dependable auto care. 2 Eau Claire locations, easy online scheduling, trusted service when you need it the most. That's AJM Automotive, where they keep you moving. Just saw Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated. By the way, good to see Tom from across the pond in our video stream there. So what's up, Tom? Hope all is well. But, Tom, I'm actually kind of curious if you're still listening, Tom, because I had seen yesterday, Tom is our resident Lions fan. I had seen yesterday a lot of the odds makers, advanced statistics, whatever, favors the Lions to win the division. One of them was, let me see if I can pull it up here really quick. I think I know where it's at. But let me see. Okay. Is it this one? Maybe not. Anyways, yeah, here we go. This was Kevin Seifert from ESPN. Per ESPN Analytics, chances of winning the NFC North. 38% Lions, 33% Packers, 19% Bears, Vikings 10%. What do you, and not just for Tom, but I guess for everybody else, what do you think of those numbers? Maybe part of me is a little surprised at how high the Lions are and maybe how low the Bears are. But I'm genuinely curious to get everybody's reaction, whether you are a Bears fan or a Packers fan or a Lions fan or a Vikings fan. I don't care. Or Cowboys fan. Don't matter. When you see those numbers, now this is, again, per ESPN Analytics, too high, too low for some, just right for some. What are your thoughts? Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated, though, he's got a new piece up. The A-list. 14 teams that can actually win the Super Bowl. Connor makes the point that the NFL is more wide open than usual this season, but we can still narrow down the field and exclude a few teams you might not expect. So, who are the 14 teams, in his opinion, that can win the Super Bowl? Think about it. That's nearly half the league, right? So is it wide open? Let's just run through it. Is Green Bay on this list? His list includes Baltimore, Buffalo, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Green Bay, Houston, Jacksonville, the Chargers, the Rams, Patriots, 49ers, and then finally the Seahawks. What did he have to say about the Packers? He said, I think last season was a narrative buster for Jordan Love, whose pocket presence often conveyed a sense of erraticism beyond truth. Love is athletic and can see the field well, which motivates him to take chances, many of which get home. He finished last season with the lowest bad throw percentage of his career. His percentage of on-target throws was also a career high. He ranked third in down-to-down efficiency behind only Drake May and the EPA god, Brock Purdy. His completion percentage over expectation was better than Josh Allen's. All of this is to say that Love is set up to start the season on a monster run, with the Packers likely to be favorites in their first 4 games against the Vikings, Jets, Falcons, and Buccaneers. This will be a solid confidence-building runway and ease Green Bay into the point in the season when Micah Parsons should return from last season's torn ACL. The Packers were really only blown out once last season, had 5 one-score losses and a tie, and were one disastrous quarter away from making the second round of the playoffs. I'm often biased toward teams like the Packers, who underperformed with some of their best players, over a team like the Broncos, whose best path to the Super Bowl has seemed to already materialize. Just for what it's worth, this was the write-up for Lions and Bears. Lions-wise, the Lions have the league's most generous schedule by some measures, which we must consider alongside this startling fact. Despite changing offensive coordinators at midseason and heaping a ton of extra responsibility on Dan Campbell's plate, the Lions still managed to finish third in passing yards and passing touchdowns, tied for fourth in points, tied for fourth in turnovers, and seventh in yards per rushing attempt. The Lions won 9 games last season, beat the Bears twice, and rolled into the bye week at 5-2. New offensive coordinator Drew Petzing is, I feel, a highly underrated offseason signing. After the Lions flirted with Mike McDaniel, settling on Petzing, the former Cardinals offensive coordinator, should help stabilize and make more sensible run game and protection scheme that left some of the Lions' best players hung out to dry under former coordinator John Morton. The loss of Terrion Arnold is undeniable, though. Detroit has prided itself on man off the street mentality when it comes to the league's number 3 most frequent man defense. And then for Chicago, the Bears enter the 26th season as everyone's darling. Caleb Williams is on the cover of Madden. Chicago will star in this year's NFL on Hallmark original holiday movie. The Bears thrived amid the largest question that I felt plagued the team going into Ben Johnson's inaugural season. Could he create explosive plays as efficiently with the Bears as he could with the star-studded Lions offense? The answer was a resounding yes. Even when dependent on some rookies and a fleet of free agents, the Bears were 6th in yards per game and 5th in plays of 20 yards or more. Chicago had a league-best plus 22 turnover margin, 2 one-point wins and 1 two-point win, in addition to 4 other one-score wins. 3 of Chicago's 11 wins last year were against teams that made the playoffs, including an overtime victory against the slumping Packers, sans Micah Parsons. Given all that, I still think Johnson is one of the league's elite play callers who will be setting the pace for what is schematically possible this season. Because of that, sometimes one-score wins represent less of a fluke and more of a fact that Johnson is simply calling better plays in bigger moments than other offensive play callers. That last part's kind of interesting because I think what was one thing that Johnson took a hit last year. Now, he was able to bounce back with some of his aggressive play calling, but it was those fourth down decisions, really aggressive decisions that maybe early on in the game didn't work. But this is where I kind of got to give him credit and the Bears credit, and it hurts. But they brushed it off and kept moving on and still won a lot of those games. But going back to those ESPN analytics, I got to say, I was a little surprised to see the Bears at 19%. Because as Connor Orr said, they seem to be a lot of people's darling. They're a good team. They're going to be a playoff threat. 3 of the 4 teams. Honestly, I'm not going to overlook Minnesota. I think Minnesota quietly last year, you look at it, they weren't that far off with questionable quarterback play. If Kyler Murray just gives them a little bit of an improvement, that might be a team to just kind of keep in the back of your mind or keep an eye on. I think the NFC North still is the best division in football in terms of depth. You got the NFC West. I get it with the Seahawks, the Rams, the 49ers. Those are 3 really good teams. But the Cardinals are just, they're so far behind where it's a 3-team race for that division. It may be a 3-team race for the NFC North, but Minnesota is better than the Cardinals. You look at the other divisions, the NFC East, Cowboys, Eagles, Washington, New York. I'm still taking the NFC North. AFC wise, AFC North, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati. I'm still taking the NFC North. AFC East, Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, Jets. No, it's the NFC North. AFC West. Okay, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos. You got those three. A little bit of an unknown, though, with the Raiders. Yeah, give me the NFC North. It's between the NFC North and the NFC West. But, yeah, I'll admit, I was a little surprised that 19% favored the Bears. That's a big gap between them and the Lions. Are they overhyping the Lions? Underappreciating the Bears or underhyping the Bears? Packers? Just right? Too high? Too low? What do you think? All right, we got to take a quick break as we approach halftime. Already almost 2 hours into this thing. We'll be back in just a few minutes. When it comes to feeding your family, quality matters. And for great tasting meats, you don't have to look any further than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From fresh cuts of beef and pork to delicious brats, steaks, and all of your favorites for the grill, Mike's Star Market brings you the quality and service that you expect from a true local butcher shop. Whether you are firing up the grill, planning a family meal, or stocking up the freezer, stop by Mike's Star Market and experience the difference of shopping local. Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. Quality meats, hometown service, and a tradition that you can taste. All right. Got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. Coming up next hour, we'll chat it up with RJ Cardinal. So we get inch a little bit closer and closer and closer to the start of the college football season. So we'll catch up with RJ at about 8:20 here this morning. Continue to send me your Toys and Four to Grind My Gears Tuesday notes. Also, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Best ones we'll read up on the air. Hey, good day yesterday for the Express. Taking both games against Waterloo. The first place Express continue to rock and roll here in the second half of this season. So hopefully they can continue that. They're going to be going up against Waterloo again tonight and tomorrow. Off day, Thursday, but they'll be on the road Friday and Saturday, taking on Wausau. Sunday, Monday, Thunder Bay. The Express will be back at Carson Park a week from today, and they're going to be at home for quite a bit as they wrap up the regular season and hopefully get ready for a playoff run too. But they're in that position right now. If they take care of their business, they control their destiny, which we know every team, you want to be in that situation, right? You want to be able to control your destiny. We got Tom from across the pond and Zach chiming back and forth here. Tom, our resident Lions fan, says that fourth place schedule is definitely helping those odds. If the defense stays healthy, I think we have a shot, but I can't put us ahead of the Packers and Bears before the season. Before the season actually kicks off. 100% put us ahead of the Vikings, though. Zach says it's going to be a race to win the division between the Packers, Lions, and Bears. I see the Bears taking a step back this season and the Lions taking a step forward. Tom says NFC North, the top division, NFC West 2, AFC West 3. Zach says, I do think the NFC North is the toughest division in football right now for sure. Keep those thoughts coming. All right. If you got a topic idea or a question, throw that on over too. Might hit that up. We'll get back to some more Brewers baseball. Brewers yesterday picking up a win against Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta in his return to Milwaukee. Brewers hitters didn't give him a good welcome. But sorry, Freddie. Got to take care of business. And 100 games into the season for the Brewers. They open up this Tuesday, July 21st, as the best team record-wise in all of Major League Baseball. Ahead of the Dodgers. Dodgers have one more loss, same amount of wins. But, hey, Brewers, they got the best win percentage. Print the shirts right now. 100 games into this season, the Brewers have the best record in all of Major League Baseball. They are surpassing expectations for many of us. I think, again, I had them as like a wild card team, as a playoff team, but they just continue to, every year of the Pat Murphy era, they continue to surpass expectations, beat the odds. I mean, we're talking about a team right now that might win 100 games this regular season, for crying out loud, after breaking the franchise record last year with 97. They might get 100 wins this year? Are you kidding me? Holy moly. So we'll talk a little bit about Mrs. short outing yesterday. Part of the plan, or should we be concerned? A little bit of both. We'll go through some of the comments from Pat Murphy and Ms. Zarowski from yesterday. Brandon Sproat, he's going up against his former team. It's his turn to go up against his former team. He gets to start for the Brewers tonight as the Brewers look to at least clinch a series win, another series win for the Brew Crew. So, reminder, that game, 6:40 first pitch. Coverage will begin 6:05 on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So, more Brewers talk. Your Toyson Ford, grind my gears. What is grinding your gears? You can send those on over if you want to get something off your chest and feel better. And then, of course, your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Best ones, I'll read up on the air. Your thoughts on Devontae Wyatt's contract extension, if you got something to say about that too, hey, let me know, okay? We got some news updates, but we'll be back to kick off the third hour after these quick words. All right, here we go. Third quarter kicks off right now. Thanks for hanging out with us, peeps, and making us a part of your start here on this Tuesday morning of July 21st. Whether you are tuning in on the radio dials, you got a couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, or hitting us up online at sportstalk1051.com. Got the video stream that's also up and rolling on YouTube. The app, download it, take it on the go, and, of course, the the smart devices couldn't spit that out, like Amazon and such. So, however you're tuning in, we appreciate it. Got that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line up and rolling. You can hit us up with some messages at 715-830-1912 or hang out in the Section 105 chat on the video stream. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal, our college guy, Badger analyst. Obviously, the big college story from yesterday was Wade Manuel from Michigan. He's going to be done, moving on at the end of the calendar year. So we'll touch on that and talk some Badgers with Mr. Cardinal coming up here in about 15 minutes. Continue to send me your thoughts on the Devontae Wyatt signing extension done by the Packers. It has been a busy offseason so far for the Green and Gold. When you take a look at all the moves that they have made, factoring in even trades, trading for Zaire Franklin, signing some free agents, re-signing a lot of their guys, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. I should say extending a lot of their guys. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, now Devontae Wyatt. Tucker Kraft will get one. I'm very confident in saying that Tucker Kraft is going to get a contract extension. I'll just be curious to see if it's going to be before the season begins or during the season. It's a risk either way. If you're the player, do you want the security now? Like Tucker Kraft could be paid. I still think if they get the deal done, like if it's today that it gets announced, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a top 5, top 3 tight end deal. But the risk is if they don't sign him now and he goes and balls out this year, he might be the highest paid tight end, so the price goes up. If Tucker doesn't take the deal now and he bets on himself, if he gets hurt, he might miss out on some money. So it's balancing. Which way do you go? Right? Which way do you go? But I would think that they're talking. They probably have been talking for a while. And still very, very, very confident it is going to get done. Brewers, last night, picking up the win against Freddie Peralta and the New York Mets. 8-3. Cooper Pratt picking up his first career home run. Dude was solid at the plate, 3 for 4. He's been really solid at the plate as of late. Joey Ortiz with another home run, too. Andrew Vaughn picked up a dinger. Jacob Mizrowski, 4 innings, giving up 4 hits. Why 4 innings? Well, Pat Murphy kind of alluded to the possibility before the game that we might see some shorter outings for Jacob Mizrowski. Pat Murphy kind of said, I think we have to build him back up and make sure we do it in a mindful way. That was his comments before the game yesterday. And, well, we saw Mizrowski only go 4 innings. Did part of it factor in how the Brewers, what the score of the game was, where they were at, kind of maybe in control, maybe. But Pat Murphy also said, too, that we would have, this was after the game, quote, we would have probably let him go forward if his delivery and his legs felt great. He didn't throw a commanded heater past the second inning. He was kind of coming off his legs and getting stuck and trying to get out of it. Concerning. Now, is concerning maybe a little bit of a dramatization, over-exaggeration? Possibly. But nobody likes to hear the manager use that word, concerning. For what it's worth, Mizrowski kind of compared it to spring training. Kind of just working his way back up. Kind of getting back into that rhythm. Mizrowski said after the game, I felt like I wasn't in my legs as well as I should have been. I felt halfway decent, good enough. He said, I feel like I was right in the spot I need to be to get ready for the second half of the season. So something to maybe kind of keep an eye on. I guess, I don't know. Like even Murphy said, too, before the game, quote, it's a big discussion. It's a big topic. There's been all sorts of concern, planning discussions, sidebar discussions about biomechanics, strength testing, all of that. Thus, the reason for the layoff. Now, how do we ramp it back up? I guess I'm not overly concerned. I think after 13 days, we know pitchers are creatures of habit, routine. 13 days off is a little bit, right? It's outside the norm. Let's see how Mizorowski looks in his next turn, in his next start. But I think this is something that you're going to see going forward for not only Miz, but maybe a couple other starters or a few starters or a few of these pitchers. How do you get to the point? You got to win now. That's always the mindset, and that's Pat Murphy's mindset, win tonight. But they do have to have, at this point in time in the season, I think they're at, with 62 games left to go. And given where they're at in the standings, you don't want to take anything for granted. You can't. And you can't be complacent. And I don't think they're going to. But it's a fine line now. You're at this point in time in the season where it is a fine line of, okay, we still have to focus on winning now because, we're not going to go to the postseason if we don't take care of business right now in these final 62 games. But you do have to have an eye on towards October. So that's that fine line, that balancing act. How do you keep your guys fresh, not overdo it, make sure that they're going to be as prepared as possible, as fresh as possible for that October run, but also take care of business now and win these games? That's what they got to figure out. That's the balancing act in this thing. Because you don't want to get too complacent. You don't want to overthink it. And then all of a sudden you get in this rut, in this little bit of a potential losing streak. That's the worst thing that could happen. This is what the Brewers have to figure out. You have to figure out a way to still win now, get Mizorowski, get a lot of those guys to work in, but make sure that they're as fresh as humanly possible for October. Because you need them. You need the Miz. You need Kyle Harrison when he comes back. You need those guys pitching at the level that they have been pitching at this year when you get to the postseason. And a big part of that is going to be, are they going to be fresh? Or are they going to be fatigued? They're fatigued. Brewers are in trouble. And I think they're set up with some of these moves, with some of the pitchers that they have, whether they're bullpen or starter guys, where they could be a little bit flexible. You saw, like last night, Lance McCullers Jr. coming out of the pen and throwing 3 innings. You got guys that are sitting in your pen that can give you multiple innings if need be. You have some versatility within this pitching staff. But it's definitely going to be kind of interesting to see how they game plan this for the next 62. And I think the more they win, and maybe that bigger that gap gets, whether it's division or first place seeding, whatever it may be, how it influences some of these decisions. Because, you don't want to give maybe them too much rest, because then maybe you look at last night, it was like, okay, 13 days off for the Miz, he was maybe a little bit off, at least according to them. You don't want him off in a postseason game. You want him dialed into that postseason game. You want him ready to go. Tonight, we got Brandon Sproat on the mound. I think, Brandon Sproat going up against his former team, he's probably going to be a little extra motivated. It's human. It's natural. They could downplay it. Wasn't there long, but he is still, he's probably happy to be with Milwaukee. But, it's still natural to be, okay, I got to show them. Right? I got to show them that they should not have given up on me or whatever. Sprout, I want to see now the consistency thing, because I think, in my opinion, when you look at all the starters that have double-digit starts for the Brewers this year, I think it's safe to say he might be the most inconsistent. There's been at times, even Pat Murphy kind of calling him out, and we'll have really good, solid performances from him, and then maybe a little bit of a hiccup. in his last, 10 starts, 9, 8 starts, 11 starts, whatever it's going to be, start stacking success. Start stacking consistent, good outings. That's what I want to see. And I think when you look at this, I don't know how much of a factor this is going to be when we get closer to that, but it was kind of the talk last year. It was what's that rotation going to look like? Smith's going to be a starter. Smith's going to come out of the bullpen. Brandon Sproat might be in that conversation too. We got a ways to get there yet, but that's something for some of these maybe fringe starters. Hey, you want to be on that playoff roster? Hey, you want to be a part of the playoff roster, maybe a starter? You got to show that consistency. And I think Sproat's right there. Robert Gasser's right there. Shane Drowan. They'll have roles. It's just their roles right now might be completely different when it comes to the postseason. All right, let's take a quick break and switch gears here. We're going to talk some college sports with Mr. RJ Cardinal. He's coming up after these quick words. When you're looking for your next vehicle, choose a dealership that knows and cares about the community it serves. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls is proud to be locally owned and operated, providing hometown service and a better buying experience for drivers throughout the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're looking for a new Ford, a quality pre-owned vehicle, or trusted service for the vehicle you already own, the team at Toyson Ford is there to help. Experience the difference of shopping local. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, your hometown Ford dealer. Let's switch gears here a little bit and, let's chat some college and some Badgers with our dude, Mr. R.J. Cardinal, who is joining us this morning. Happy Tuesday, R.J. How you doing?
Oh, happy Tuesday to you as well. Can't really complain. Didn't have the storms that were supposed to roll through yesterday, so it was good having a reprieve from around of those, but kind of went north and south of here, and I know some places had some funnel clouds and tornadic activity. I think that's how you say it. But I got to miss me, so I can't really complain.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. So, hey, I know not a lot is really going on as we get amped up for Badgers and such, but definitely a big college story yesterday, and it affects the Big Ten, is Michigan's athletic director, Ward Manuel, is stepping down at the end of the calendar year. I mean, this has been, RJ, just kind of would you say like a really weird year for Michigan? Obviously the change with their football coach, and then basketball. I mean, Dusty leaves, and so they got a new basketball coach, and they're defending champs, and now, the athletic director is leaving at the end of the calendar year. I mean, this just seems like it's even, I guess, going back to the Harbaugh year for Michigan too, kind of a weird finish to that. I mean, what's going on with Michigan right now?
Well, part of this came about because I think it was proven that both the president of Michigan and the athletic director tried to sweep the Connor Stallion things under the rug.
Yeah.
And then, that snowballed into what it became, and then that whole staff ended up under a whole bunch of show causes and other criminal activity that you go down the list and start reeling things off, and you're wondering, oh, this happened over, different stops and all that. Nope, all these things happened in 4 to 5 years at Michigan. So, it got it was something where I think he got the ultimatum to resign or be fired, and took the resignation route rather than being fired. So I think it's trying to wrap it up and put a bow on the package that was the Connor Stallions scandal and the whole former Michigan staff. And we're just moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. So I wanted to get your thoughts. I know Luke Fickell the other day kind of shared his thoughts on the 5-for-5 rule that would give athletes 5 years of eligibility, and that. What are your thoughts on the 5-for-5 rule?
It's really something that is hard. I thought it would be hard to implement because you have to kind of go on a sport-by-sport basis. I get in some sports, like football and basketball, it's pretty self-explanatory, and I can see it getting applied there. Really takes out the foreign players who, graduated high school or the equivalent of high school at whatever sport academy they went to, and played professional basketball for a few years, and now have, they're 23 and are going to be freshmen, things like that. I understand that kind of thing, eliminating that. But if you go into Olympic sports, and I think we've talked about this before, but even some hockey, there are players who are good enough to maybe get drafted in the NHL, play 1 to 2 years of college hockey, and then go start their pro career. There are also kids who have to go the route of major juniors in Canada, the USHL, that I think you can play in there until you're 19 or 20. And then you have to develop to be able to play collegiate hockey. And there's players like that, and you tend to get older freshmen. So like there you have an issue, but you can't pick and choose your sports. Other Olympic sports, like you can, if you're good enough, it's not like you can go pro.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to end up using Olympic red shirts. So really, if you hit it right, you could end up having 2 Olympics in your collegiate career and take 2 Olympic red shirts. But by then, that's 6 years of eligibility. So you're already done. And granted, you can go, if you're good enough, you can usually go to your regional training center or the Olympic training center for said sport. But it's a rule that I understand is to kind of temper everything that's happened since COVID, and now with some of the red shirt rules and all that. But I mean, I think there was a better way to do this rather than put a strict 5 years after you graduate or 5 years after you turn 19 or whatever it was. But I understand the logic behind it, but it's actually another rule that'll end up hurting college athletics more than it helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, I got to get your thoughts too. Missouri football coach Eli Drinkwitz kind of took a shot at Big Ten, saying part of the reason the Big Ten has won the last 3 national titles is, quote, when you don't play a non-conference A4 game, makes things a little bit easier. What are your thoughts on that comment from Missouri's head coach?
I believe people started pulling up Missouri's schedule from the past few years, and I think they only have 1 game against non-conference power school. So I think it's somebody who's trying to toe the party line and still say the SEC is the best. When, I mean, there were, how many? I think it was like 6 SEC schools had a winning conference record last year. And I mean, that's not good. And you know what? I know Wisconsin's like contributed to being a bad conference team lately, but it's not good when less than half of your schools are only have winning records in conference play. And now you look at it, and yeah, sure, you beat yourself up week in, week out, and you can't play good games in the college football playoff. The SEC requires 1 game against a power non-conference. The Big Ten doesn't, but most of the schools still schedule at least 1 power non-conference game. Indiana did not. They got 3 wins one way or another, and then it's still a football game. Things happen in football games. If you're not exerting effort in a game, you're probably going to lose. So it really doesn't make sense year in, year out having your second to last game of the year be against FCS schools rather than even a FBS school. So the SEC can have their off week near the end of their schedule. That's fine. You get a bye and then essentially a game bye late in your season. You adopted the 9-game conference schedule because everybody else was saying 8 games against just yourself, and you're scheduling cupcakes. Now you made a rule to also add a non-conference game against a power school. I think that's you. You did that. Mm-hmm. So you shot yourself in the foot when you made a rule change, and now you're complaining about it. But I think we really know the real value here is the Big Ten started getting good when you could start paying players over the table. And we've talked about it before. Conference to conference, school to school, the Big Ten has a lot more wealthy alumni than most every other conference out there. So these alumni can now start paying players. We've seen what can happen at a school like Indiana that has a vast amount of wealthy alumni in all over certain industries. And they've shown their power of putting in a right coach, a coach who's not pulling in a lot of 5-stars, but he's getting guys paid to fit his system, and it's working. You have your traditional blue bloods in Michigan having won one. Granted, a little cheating scandal behind that. Nothing's happened to take that away yet, but and then Ohio State. So 3 different schools, and not saying, honestly, I'm not sure how many other Big Ten schools could probably win a national championship outside of those 3 right now, and maybe not even Michigan right now, but we'll see under Kyle Whittingham coming in. We can beat our chest now and say the Big Ten's better than the SEC. And I think a lot of places outside of the SEC would agree, top to bottom, the Big Ten is probably better right now than the SEC, just by the fact what you see head-to-head, especially in the postseason, both in the college football playoff and in the bowl season. But like everybody else says, they check out. It doesn't mean anything to them, even though they have the saying of it just means more.
Speaking of the SEC, I know a big topic out there right now is, the Protect College Sports Act and such. But Greg Sankey, kind of made a comment saying SEC breakaway talk over the college bill is just kind of honest conversations, threw it out there. My question to you, RJ, would be, okay, SEC breaks away. What does that look like? Are we talking about, again, a potential super league like with the SEC and maybe the Big Ten? I mean, are we talking like 2 different leagues where we're going to have like 2 different national champions? What would that mean if like the SEC were to break away?
Well, if they broke away, they'd be done. Like the SEC would be done. The only way they can do it is with the Big Ten. No other conference holds the weight that the Big Ten does. The SEC may think they do, but you also look at that footprint. They don't go too far outside of it. It's much more of an old boys club than any other conference. They have a lot of hubris in thinking that the rest of the world cares about them. So if they leave, it'll just be a footnote in college football that the SEC left the NCAA. They absolutely need the Big Ten to go away with them, create, let's see, they would have to add maybe 2 more teams. You get a super league there. The Big Ten's not one to just leave people behind. They're pretty fair on everybody getting the same amount, and most people have always said Michigan and Ohio State are going to leave at some point in time. But, I mean, Michigan and Ohio State benefit from all the other teams being on TV, all the other teams being in a bowl game. They get an equal slice of the pie. And granted, they might want more, but their alumni can help out, with whatever shortcomings are in the pay structure. Because we've seen when a pay structure goes by blue blood down to bottom feeder, it'll destroy a conference. We've seen it with the Big 12 on how Texas wanted to be the big dog and get paid more, and now that's a shell of itself. And other people have gone and left the ACC for a bigger slice of a pie. Some have joined the Big Ten. Some have, it's all whatever it is. But the SEC cannot make a move without the Big Ten. So they can float around the idea, but if the Big Ten doesn't want to move, it would be basically athletic suicide. And I guess so. They do not hold the weight that they think they do, even though they have won a lot of things on the athletics field. In the back rooms and the boardrooms, they don't pull any weight.
Gotcha. Interesting. Hey, before I let you, I do got to throw in some Badger basketball talk because we last week, or was it maybe a little over a week ago, had the first media session for media members to see practice for this team. Did you hear anything about maybe who kind of stood out, or from what you read, who maybe kind of stood out for this new Badger basketball team?
Well, people are really liking the transfers in general. So, once again, it seems Greg Gard did pretty awesome with picking up guys like Elmer and why am I blanking on his name? The Aussie, and that's all they call him. What is his name? Oh man, well that's embarrassing. But people are really liking the new additions, and thinking, probably still worldwide pick us to finish fifth or worse in the Big Ten, but we all know how that goes. But yeah, so far so good on the new additions to this team, and it's gonna. I mean, when you only have really 2 returning players, it's going to look a lot different than last year.
Mm-hmm. Is that Owen, the Australian, Owen Foxwell, you're thinking of?
Yes. I almost said Owen Blackwell, and I'm like, nope, don't say that. You're going to sound stupid. So it's better to just say I forgot his name. But yeah, Foxwell, yeah. But yeah, so at least first look, people are liking what they see, and like what Wisconsin did in the off season to help replenish everything that either graduated, left, and we're still waiting to see what happens with Braden Carrington, since he joined that lawsuit to get another year of eligibility. So probably, we'll see what happens with that. But he might be another addition for the last roster spot here if all goes well.
Mm-hmm. Do we know when Badger football camp officially begins, fall camp?
It will begin August 6th.
August 6th? Okay. So August 6th. We got a couple weeks yet before they get rolling with that. So, all right. Good stuff.
Yeah, we got Packers reporting on the 26th. And then
next Wednesday, yeah. Or next Wednesday is their first practice. So.
Yeah, yep. Right. It's report on the 26th, and then we'll go on 29th or 28th. Yep. Yeah. So a couple weeks later, then the Badgers start their camp to prepare for Notre Dame.
Right. So you're going to that game, right? Are you going?
Oh yeah. Yep. I'll be there. Had my tickets come through finally, so that was cool.
Nice.
But yeah, so we'll just play it by ear. I got a buddy who lives in Appleton, so get to stay up there for free because the tickets cost enough.
Yeah, I can imagine what hotels are going to go for too. So holy moly!
A lot of them are already I have a couple of buddies who already booked them last year, and you had to book because it's also a holiday weekend. I think they got to be up there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night.
Wow.
So, yeah. So there's quite a requirement there for some of those rooms. But, I mean, even on a Packer weekend, usually you have to stay Friday, Saturday night anyway. So, I mean, really just extending an extra day. And I think had it been a day game on Sunday, they probably would have left Sunday, but since it's a night game, they're staying the extra day there. But
gotcha.
Yeah, kind of a crazy time. And now that I know I have tickets, I can start counting down the days to football Sunday.
There you go, man. Well, he's RJ Cardinal, our Badger guy down in Madison. We appreciate it as always, sir. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch up with you again next week, bud.
Sounds good. We will talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ joining us as usual every Tuesday morning, breaking all things down Badgers and college sports. We got to take a quick break, play a little catch up. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. The countdown to fall sports is on. From Friday night football to volleyball, soccer, and cross country, athletes across the Chippewa Valley are getting ready to compete. But when injuries happen, getting the right care matters. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine specializes in helping athletes getting back into the game with expert orthopedic care, sports medicine, and treatment that you can trust. Whether you are a weekend warrior or a high school athlete chasing your goals, their team is here to help keep you moving. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, your partner in staying active, healthy, and ready for the season ahead. Do got to play a little catch-up, which you probably already know, so we do have to take another break before the top of the hour. But let's use this to kind of reset everything. All right. It is Tuesday, which means it's a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what's grinding your gears, peeps? Hit us up. All right, hit me up with a message, 715-830-1912, or you can hang out in the Section 105 chat. It is also a Tuesday. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying Brewers are going to win 100-plus games, but I'm just saying, I don't know where I was going with that. Just trying to give you an example. All right, so give me some good ones. I'll get to mine coming up in the next hour. We're going to talk some more Brewers as we get set for Game 2 with Brandon Sproat on the mound. Brewers, with a win tonight, at least clinch a series win. Packers locking up Devontae Wyatt with a 3-year extension. Tucker Kraft next. Kind of a process of elimination, isn't it, that Tucker Kraft would be next? I mean, unless Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine are high on the priority list for Green Bay. But don't fret, Packers fans. It's going to get done. It's going to get done. I would be insanely shocked and upset if Tucker Kraft is not on Green Bay for the long term. It's going to get done. I think this is probably, when you look at, maybe the Watsons, the Reeds, the Devontae Wyatt extensions, Tucker Kraft, I think, was the most difficult to get done quickly because of, well, one, he's coming off injuries. Two, he was on pace to maybe be an all-pro tight end last year. There's no doubt he's still a young man, a lot of football left in front of him. It's one of those deals that I'm sure, Green Bay's maybe using the side of injury where, Tucker's side is using the potential, like, well, hey, look at every year. We know this is one of the best tight ends in the league, and he's going to get paid like one of the best tight ends in the league. And Green Bay, like, well, yeah, it's a negotiation. This one was probably going to be the hardest and maybe the one that was going to take the longest to kind of negotiate. The risks and all that is, well, other tight ends are signing, and, well, you got new benchmarks. The longer it goes, more guys are going to get deals done, and maybe that price goes up just a little bit more. We've seen these tight end deals already, like a Kyle Pitts this year. Those are kind of the benchmarks at this point. But we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up in the next hour too. But if you want to give your thoughts on the Devontae Wyatt contract extension, hey, hit me up. All right, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. We don't know the full-on details. We just know the basic numbers. 3 years, a little over $50 million, $20 million signing bonus. We don't know the full-on breakdown. If the signing bonus is the only guaranteed portion of that contract, I kind of like it. All right. Got to take that final break because I'm running out of time here. So I got to do that. And we'll wrap up the third hour shortly after we come back from our break and hit up the final hour, the happy hour. All right. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Just a couple spots remain for the 6th annual Kasper Classic coming up on Friday, August 7th. You better get to our website, sportstalk1051.com, to claim them. All right, we had to open up one for the 10 a.m., and we got a couple opened for the 1 p.m. A few more in the 7:30 if you want to get up bright and early with the likes of Surveyor, Sam, and such, and golf out there. But if you want one of those, that last one for the 10 a.m. spot, you better get over to the website and get there. If you want to, maybe you and a group want to get to the last couple for that 1 p.m., hey, again, you better sign up right now because it is going to sell out. Big thanks to our partners this year, Window World presenting sponsor. We've got Muldoon's, Service Master, Park Ridge Distributing, Hy-Vee, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Kelsey Nicolai, Dodge, Cambridge, Myron Construction, VFW Post 305, Superior Auto Body, Home Oasis, Resonance Branding, Claflin Construction, Carpet City Flooring Center, and Economy Furniture. We are still looking for raffle prizes, so if you are interested in helping out Backyard Dreams, because 100% of the proceeds from this golf outing go to help Backyard Dreams. If you are interested, wanting to help out Backyard Dreams with some raffle prizes, please reach out. I know, Paul, I know I didn't get back to you, but cards, yeah, dude. Cards, if you're willing to do that, heck yeah, send it on over, man. Anybody else, whatever, if you're interested, please reach out, and we'll put you in touch with the proper peeps and that. So, but that's coming up Friday. All right, Friday, August 7th. 2 weeks from this Friday, I'm actually going over to Lake Hallie today and kind of going over some final things as we get set for the golf outing. Again, it's just $90 per team, not per person, per team. So split the bill between you and your partner. You get your round of golf, you get your meal, get some drink tickets, get the carts, and a whole lot of fun too. So can't believe that's coming up here very soon. All right, just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour. We'll kick off the 9 o'clock hour with my I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I want you to send over your I'm not saying, but I'm just sayings. Also along with your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesdays. What's grinding your gears? Send those on over too. We'll get back to Devontae Wyatt signing an extension with the Packers. Brewers game 2 of the series with the Mets starting tonight. Brewers with a win will at least clinch a series win. So Brandon Sprout's going to be on the mound for the Brew Crew. What does he have in store going up against his former ball club? Hopefully a better performance than what Freddie Peralta had against the Brewers. I helped out the Brewers, though. So Brewers, 100 games into the season. Best record in Major League Baseball. How about that? I'll be honest. I did not expect it. We still got 62 more games to go. A big portion of the season still to go. But if you were to tell me on July 21st, after 100 games that the Brewers have played, that they would have the best record in Major League Baseball, no. Playoff contending, yep. I would believe that. But best record in Major League Baseball, Pat Murphy, Matt Arnold, getting the job done again. Fantastic. All right, shot clock is going to cut me off here, so we'll have some news updates and then kick off the happy hour version, the final hour, the final quarter of this Tuesday program. We'll be right back in just a couple short minutes. All right. It is here. Happy hour, the final hour coming your way right now. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning, all morning long, whether it has been on those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, or streaming us up online at sportstalk1051.com. You got the app, download it, take it on the go. Smart devices like your Alexa devices, and, of course, the video stream. You got that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line that is up and rolling, 715-830-1912, and the Section 105 chat on the video stream. A happy Tuesday. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what in the world is grinding your gears? All right, send it on over. Hit us up. Okay, 715-830-1912. What you got? CBS Sports, we're going to get to this here in just a couple minutes, but with the MLB trade deadline coming up here, CBS Sports had a couple of their writers make some predictions on where some of these names, maybe bigger names, are going to go. Brewers with one of them. I just kind of want to get your reaction from who I'm about to say coming up here in just a second. It's only one voter and for one player. Otherwise, Brewers do not pop up quite a bit here. So we'll get to that here in just a skosh. Okay. But I want to, we're going to talk some Devontae Wyatt here too with the contract extension. And that's kind of where I'm not saying, but I'm just saying is, I'm not saying Tucker Kraft is going to get a deal done before camp. But I'm just saying, because there seems to be a lot of fans, whether it's the loud minority, at least online, that are freaking out that Tucker Kraft has not signed an extension yet for the Packers. So I'm not saying Tucker is going to sign before camp opens up next week, but I'm just saying it'll get done. It'll get done today, next week, 2 months, 6 months. Tucker Kraft will be playing football for the Green Bay Packers a year from today. Okay, it'll get done. I am confident. I am super confident in that happening. It's going to happen. And if it doesn't, for whatever reason, that is a failure by the green and gold. It'll get done, though. So I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon. It could. I'm not going to sit here and predict that it'll be before camp. It could. But I'm just saying it will happen. It will happen. Okay? Don't freak out. Don't get mad at the dollar amounts, this, that, the other thing. Let the people whose job it is to figure that all out, Russ Ball and front office and Brian Goody, let them do their jobs. Let them figure that out. Okay? It'll get done. So stop freaking out. Stop panicking. It'll get done. So, CBS Sports, they've got MLB trade deadline landing spots predicting new teams for some of these players. Not a lot of players, just a few players. So they have 3 writers on this thing. They've got Tarek Skubal. 2 of the 3 voters voted that he stays with the Tigers. The other one going with the Dodgers. Taylor Ward, 2 of the 3 voters. Phillies. Marlins, got to vote. Luis Ariz, 2 of the 3, Boston. Otherwise, staying with the Giants, got 1. Chapman, staying with Boston. And then the other is Freddie Peralta. 2 of the 3 go with the Cubs. 1 voter went with the Brewers. Dade Perry. Why not the Brewers, he says. Peralta's former team has been hit with rotation injuries lately, and they can use an innings guy like their old friend in the mix. That's especially the case as Jacob Mizorowski's innings pile up down the stretch. There's obviously deep familiarity on both sides. So, after what we saw from Freddie Peralta, I know yesterday we asked the question because there was a report out there about Brewers potentially reacquiring Freddie Peralta. We talked about it yesterday. A loud majority, wide majority, said, yes, bring back Freddie Peralta. Okay, we got to see him pitch yesterday. Brewers put up some runs against him. Did what you witnessed yesterday, did that change your opinion for everybody who said, yes, bring back Freddie Peralta? Did it change your opinion or not? I don't know if it reinforced or maybe like if you said yes, you're like even more of a yes. I don't know if that did, but if it did, I'm curious to hear why. Maybe it's because you're like, Miz only went 4, so that's why. Okay. But after watching yesterday's game or listening to yesterday's game, last night's game, did it change your opinion on whether you want Freddie Peralta back with the Brew Crew or not? Freddie picked up the loss. He went 5 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, struck out 6, did walk a couple. Freddie Peralta, one of the deepest times he went into a game, too. Don't know if that was by happy accident or not, but let's be real here, okay? I was one of them yesterday that said, yeah, add Freddie Peralta, he'd be like a back-end starter. You know what you're going to get with Freddie, okay? If this is legit, which I still have some questions about whether it's legit or not. If this was legit, the Brewers know exactly what Freddie Peralta would be giving them, okay? They would know exactly, more than any other team that would be potentially inquiring on his services. The Brewers know exactly what they would be getting with Freddie Peralta. So I know there were some people, don't overpay. Brewers are not going to overpay. They know what they would be getting. They know. Yeah, 107 pitches Freddie threw last night. And kind of a typical Freddie game, 5 1/3 and 107 pitches. We've seen that over the years, right? And I'll admit, looking at last night's game, I'm like, oh, okay. Do I want that performance, that type of game with the Brewers? I still go back to this thing. 2 parts. 3 parts, actually. I still go back to this. Going back into a system that he is comfortable with and familiar with, getting to work with Chris Hook and that pitching staff again to kind of maybe fix some things or they have just this knack. When you hear the Brewers acquire a pitcher, you hear a lot about, well, they really focus on, okay, what do you do well? And that's what they really focus on. It seems like Chris Hook and his pitching staff and his coaching staff doesn't really focus on, hey, we need you to be this guy and you need to do this and you need to do it this way and this way. Okay, you do this really well, you do this, let's build upon that. It's that whole square or round hole into, or round object into a square hole, you know, fitting a square peg into a round hole. There we go. It doesn't seem like the Brewers do that. They look at the guy, be like, okay, you're really good at this, you're really good at this, let's focus on this. Let's build upon that. And I think Freddie moving from a Mets situation back to a Brewer situation would be a benefit to him. And I think you would see better performances from Mizorowski if he was with the Brewers. Partially because Milwaukee versus New York market, I think, external pressures, internal pressures. The familiarity with the coaching staff, the pitching coaches already know Freddie. They know what to expect. They know more about him than probably anybody right now. But I still throw in, he'd have Contreras to work with. I still argue. I will continue to argue this, that I think this is one of the most underrated, most underappreciated aspects about this Brewers team, or even a lot of teams with a really good catcher. What Contreras means to this ball club, from managing this pitching staff and working with these pitchers, I think, does not get enough credit. I don't think it gets enough credit. This is a pitcher, or this is a catcher that has had to work with so many young pitchers, especially over the last couple of years. Mixed in with some veterans here and there. Different guys coming in. For a pitcher to know that they've got somebody like Contreras behind the dish is just this huge comfort factor, reliability, trust. And it's a big one. Trust. So maybe it took a little bit of like last night, I was like, ugh, for a split second, I'm like, I don't know if I want this now. But I go back to the thing of those three things: getting out of New York, going back to somewhere that, and it's not like just you're going back to a team after a couple of years. You were literally there last year. And the Contreras factor. Brewers are not going to overpay for him. Anybody concerned about that? That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. And that's honestly where I'm still skeptical about whether the Brewers are legitimately interested, because this just screams of the Mets throwing the Brewers' name out there in order to get a better deal from Cubs, Dodgers, Rays, Braves, whoever else may be looking for a starting pitcher. It is the perfect fake news little thing to throw out there of any other team. Hey, Brewers are interested. Brewers want Freddie Peralta. You're the Cubs, like, oh no. If the Brewers get him back, he's going to go in there and he's probably going to resurrect and be the old typical Freddie. We can't let that happen, so we got to up the offer. It just makes total sense. I can make the case for either side. I can see the Brewers being interested because of the familiarity, because of the need. But I can also see the side of their team name is just being thrown out there to try to draw the price up. You can see both sides of this thing easily. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more, though, coming up in the final hour. We'll be back after these quick words. Looking for a great place to meet friends, maybe enjoy some good food and support some great causes and some local events? Well, then you need to stop by the VFW Post 305, located at 1300 Star Avenue in Eau Claire. Whether you're catching the game, enjoying one of their community events, or simply looking for a welcoming place to relax, there's always something happening at the VFW Post 305. Everyone's welcome at the VFW Post 305, so stop on in today and see why it's one of Eau Claire's favorite neighborhood gathering spots. So Peralta and Pat Murphy, by the way, since we were just talking a little bit about that, did kind of talk about maybe a potential reunion if that were to work out. And Kurt Hogg, who covers the Brewers for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, has a piece that dropped late last night kind of talking about that subject. And it says Freddie Peralta will be traded. Pretty adamant. Will be traded. But return to the Brewers may not be in the cards. Just some of the comments here. Said, he did make the case. It makes sense. It's a pairing. And Pat Murphy said before the game that he feels his team could benefit from adding a veteran starter, saying, quote, someone asked me the other day, do you guys have any need at starting pitching? Well, yes, you always think that, especially the way I think. I'm always looking for the holes in the dam. Christian Yelich was asked about it. He said it's a possibility. Obviously, everybody loves Freddie here. He's played in a lot of big games. We'd obviously take him. But Murphy said, too, anybody would want Freddie Peralta in their clubhouse. Anybody. He's that impactful. I don't know how that works. Going back to the team that just traded you, I don't think it works that way very often. But nobody would turn down Freddie Peralta. Freddie said, of course, too, I spent a long time here. It's a place that I always love. It's always going to be in my heart. Both of my kids were born here, too. Milwaukee's always going to mean something to me. It's a place that's forever going to be in my heart. But as Kurt says, what exactly is going on with Peralta in New York isn't even entirely clear to those around the Mets. The increased pressure from the larger market may have gotten under his skin when he first started to struggle. He likely won't have to deal with that any longer, but it also doesn't sound like he will be back in the comfortable confines of Milwaukee either, barring a dip in his market value or a deviation in how the Brewers operates. That's kind of the interesting question, this whole thing. What is his market value? Will teams view him as the guy that we saw maybe last year for the Brewers or all those years with the Brewers? Or will they view how he is right now in a bigger market? Like, okay, for example, if you're the Dodgers, let's say, Dodgers potentially looking for a starting pitcher. Do you look at Freddie Peralta and how do you assess, like, okay, he is struggling in New York. That is a bigger market. We don't want to take that risk. If that is the main reason that he is struggling is because he's in a bigger market, if you're the Dodgers, do you take that swing? Do you try to make that move still? Do you take that risk? Or does that take him off the wish list or the list to go after and get? If it's that simple, where he just struggles to pitch in a bigger market, wouldn't that take teams of like the Dodgers off, the Yankees off, Cubs? Or is he just, maybe the Cubs are a little bit different because, one, Craig Counsell. Two, Freddie's pitched at Wrigley Field and against the Cubs how many times? It may be a bigger market, but he's been there probably like, I don't know what the numbers are, but I would got to imagine second, third most starts against the Cubs played at Wrigley Field. So the Cubs one's interesting because it is a bigger market. There's a ton of pressure in Chicago. You're chasing the Brewers. There's a big need for Chicago for starting pitchers. But again, if you're the Cubs, do you kind of is it the Freddie? Are we going to get the Freddie that we're seeing this year that is maybe struggling because of the pressure of a bigger market? Or, well, he's played against us. He's pitched in Wrigley for a long time. He's used to that. We're going to bet on that he's going to become the pitcher that pitched for the Brewers all those years. That's going to be the interesting thing for me when it comes to Peralta and market values. Now, a team like the Dodgers, though, too, can probably afford to take a little bit of a bigger gamble, a little bit of a bigger risk. They operate their business, their baseball business superbly. They can take on money. They can afford to trade some of their prospects because they just continue to build up that farm system. It feels like they trade all these guys, right? They're not supposed to be this team. They're supposed to be a team that, okay, they're always winning is because they keep trading, right? And they keep doing all these free agent signings. So they don't have a good farm system. Wrong. They got one of the better farm systems in all of Major League Baseball. So maybe the Dodgers kind of look at this as, we can afford to take the risk. Or maybe there's just this team that is big-time believer in their culture, in their system, in their pitching staff, or coaching staff, that they believe if they acquire Freddie, he'll revert to the all-star version of Peralta. It is going to be curious, for me at least, to see what is that price tag. I can't imagine that the Mets would get anything in return like they had to give up to get him from the Brewers. I struggle to see that. I really struggle to see it. But if a team is willing to do that, I think if you're the Mets, you hurry up and you fill out that paperwork and get it done. Whether it's Braves, Dodgers, whoever, Cubs, if there's a team that is willing to give you what you gave the Brewers for Peralta right now at this very moment, I think you don't mess around with that. And you say, all right, let's do it. Let's sign on the dotted line and complete this thing. Sure seems like it's almost a for sure thing that Peralta is going to be traded. It's just a matter of now where. Even like Boston, okay? Red Sox. Freddie, would he thrive in that environment? I don't know. Speaking of Boston, you see Caleb Durbin's big home run, go-ahead home run to extend Boston's 14-game winning streak. Caleb Durbin, after having an incredibly slow start to the season, has really, really turned it on here as of late for the Red Sox. Up to 10 home runs now on the season. So, yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to. Still got to hit up some more Devontae Wyatt talk. I just saw some of the latest odds. National League Cy Young. Jacob Mizorowski's still in first and is by a wide margin. 31st place votes. Sanchez got one first place vote. Then it's Chris Sale, Zach Wheeler, Chase Burns to round out the top five. All right, quick break. Back with more in the final half hour after these quick messages. First pitch for tonight's Brewers game, 6:40. Pregame coverage begins at 6:05. You can check it all out. Tune in, listen to it all right here, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Then tomorrow's game for the Brewers, little day game, 1:10. Then off day before the weekend series against the Rockies before the Brewers then hit the road for a quick West Coast trip where they'll begin a series against the Giants starting next week. But one at a time, baby, right? One at a time. Big week, maybe across Major League Baseball, too, for some of these teams as they try to figure out whether they're going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. Packers yesterday locking up another one of their younger players, Devontae Wyatt, with a 3-year contract. He was playing under the fifth-year option this year, but now locked up with a 3-year, $57 million extension with a $20 million signing bonus. So the Packers, you look at what they've done so far this offseason in terms of extending some players, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Isaiah McDuffie, and now Devontae Wyatt. And Tucker Kraft is probably going to be the next one up, as we were just talking a little bit ago here. But Devontae Wyatt, to me, is one of the bigger keys to the success of this defense. You look at the different levels of this defense, and I'm a believer that you need a really good player, impact player, almost at every level, almost. And Devontae Wyatt, to me, is on this team, their best interior defensive lineman. And now with Jonathan Gannon coming into play here, I'm going to be curious to see how. What the heck? Why do I got spam calling me? I'm going to be curious to see maybe a different version of Devontae Wyatt. You know, last couple of years under Jeff Hafley, a little bit more of a 4-3. So could we see Devontae Wyatt become a different type of player, more effective player, more dominating player? Biggest thing for him, hopefully he's healthy this year. Just played 10 games last year, but it was clearly evident when he was out on the field and when he was playing, he was their best defensive lineman. Talking interior defensive lineman. That was clear. You want to look at advanced statistics, analytics, that'll show that to you too. And you look at him, and I think for the importance of him for this defense, especially through the first few weeks of the season with no Micah Parsons, his importance is going to be crucial. The pressure on him is going to be, let's face it, there's going to be a lot, and there should be. Okay, you get a new contract, 3 years, $57 million, there's got to come a little pressure. There's got to come with some pressure to live up to that, to fulfill that. It's not the biggest contract in the world. It's not the biggest defensive lineman contract, but it's a race, and the Packers are investing in you. And he's got to be their dominating defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. You know, Hargrave's on there. I think that's a nice duo, but Hargrave's there for maybe a year or two. After that, it's Carl Brooks, it's Chris McKellen. Unknowns, Carl Brooks, looking for a bounce back year. Rookie with Chris. There's definitely some unknowns surrounding a lot of that. But I've got no problem with the Packers giving Devontae Wyatt an extension for just 3 years. We'll see how the numbers break out once we get more details. But if the only bonus portion of that was $20 million, if the only guaranteed portion of this was the signing bonus of $20 million, you're looking at guaranteed money here in terms of cap hits. That's where I'm curious to find out more details. Where are the escalators? Where are the incentives? Because I feel like this contract is going to have some incentives and some escalators. And I think overall, when you look at some of these extensions that Green Bay has done this offseason, I think they've they've done a really good job with them. I think Jaden Reed, contract extension, team friendly. If we were to do team friendly, player friendly, I'd say team friendly for Jaden Reed. I'd say Christian Watson's deal is team friendly. And I think Devontae Wyatt's contract, from what we just know, team friendly. Tucker Kraft might be player friendly. That's the toughest one to figure out, and that throughout this whole thing was probably going to be the one that was going to take the longest to negotiate. Because Tucker Kraft, more than any of those other guys, has a legit case to say, hey, I'm a top 5 tight end. I'm top 5 in my position. Not Jaden Reed. Too much unknowns with Christian Watson, but the talent is potentially there. Devontae Wyatt, no. Not at this point in time, at least. It's going to happen, though, with Tucker. And I just look at it going forward here. You look at next year, 2027 free agents. You're looking at regular starters. Okay, regular starters. Just 3 scheduled to be unrestricted free agents. Tucker Kraft, he's going to get done. And then Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon. So unless one of those two guys just balls out this year, I can't see Green Bay bringing back those guys. Which, get ready for 2027 offseason, because you know what we're going to be talking about, again, as a need. Corners. Really need Brandon Cisse to play really well this year to be comfortable saying he's going to be a top 2 corner next year. And maybe even Benjamin St. Juste. But it's not just those guys either that they're going to, you look at, you're getting these deals done, which is setting up Green Bay to focus on the next crop of players. That includes Edrin Cooper, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard. Get these deals out of the way, get them done with, and then, it's not to say next year, it's going to be a nice, easy offseason. No, because they're going to figure out they want to get Cooper locked up. I would imagine they're probably going to do a little restructuring, maybe even extend Xavier McKinney to lower that cap hit. Josh Jacobs is a tricky one. That's kind of up in the air. But Evan Williams and Javon Bullard, they're on Jordan Morgan. So they still have questions that they're going to have to figure out next year. It's just, I like the fact that Green Bay's taking care of business right now and going through their to-do list, their checklist. Done. The honey-do list, done. They're getting it done ahead of time. All right, let's take our final break, and then we've got picks to wrap up this Tuesday show. We'll get back to some more baseball picks. That's pretty much what we got here, right? So, okay, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up this program after these quick words. All right, here we go. Let's wrap it up with some picks. Baseball picks, to be exact. Let's bring up the schedule here and get things rolling. Dodgers, Phillies. Last night in this contest between the Dodgers and Phillies, it was the Phillies with a 10-7 victory. I'm going to go Phillies again. Phillies again, baby. Twins versus the Guardians. Last night, it was Cleveland with a 13-4 victory. Joe Ryan picking up the loss. I'll go Cleveland tonight. Pittsburgh versus the Yankees. Had some bench clearing stuff with that game last night. I'll go Yankees. Tampa Bay versus Toronto. Tampa Bay picked up a 7-1 victory. I was actually reading, I think it was Bob Nightingale, USA Today. He predicted Dalton Varsho getting traded. Wonder, yeah. Was it Bob? I want to make sure. I think it was a USA. Yeah, it was. Let me bring it up here. What he had to say about Dalton Varsho here, quick. The Blue Jays have been one of the game's most underachieving teams, and nothing after the break has changed their plight, losing 2 of 3 games to the White Sox. The Blue Jays hate to raise the white flag after just being 2 outs of winning the World Series last year, but they also have to be realistic about their most attractive trade chip. Prediction for Dalton going along with a few of his teammates. Something to maybe watch. But, yeah, I'm going to go Tampa Bay. Let's go Baltimore-Boston. Ranger Suarez going. I'm going to go Boston to continue with their winning streak. Let's do Padres-Braves. Last night, Braves picking up a 3-2 victory. You know what? I'll go Padres tonight. Giants-Royals. I'll go Giants. Royals won last night. So we got White Sox taking on the Rangers. White Sox picking up a 10-3 victory over Jacob deGrom last night. I'm going to go White Sox. Tigers. Cubs, Tigers pick it up an 8-6 victory in extra innings last night against the Cubbies. I'll go Tigers again. Why not? Just going with the gut. Not picking on it because it's Cubs and I want them to lose. That's just I'm going with my gut. Miami and Houston. I'll go Miami. Washington, Colorado. Give me the Nationals. Cardinals, Angels. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Athletics, Diamondbacks. Give me the Diamondbacks. Reds, Mariners. Chase Burns is on the mound, so I'm going to go with the Reds. I know Luis Castillo's going for the Mariners too, but and then finally, Mets, Brewers. Zach Thornton, Brandon Sproat. I'm going to go Brewers. I'm going to pick the Brewers. All right, those are your picks for this morning. Coming up tomorrow, so couple things. First off, it is What Are We Doing Here Wednesday? So think of your sports takes or what's a sports take out there or a news item or something out there that you would say, what are we doing here? For example, my grind my gears was Tom Brady in WWE. That could be the perfect what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Tom Brady is he literally going to be wrestling in WWE against Logan Paul? What are we doing here? Tom Brady, what are we doing here? Why? That'd be a great what are we doing? Also, it is a what if Wednesday. So give me your what if scenarios. Share it with the rest of the class so everybody else can participate. If we got any good ones, we'll throw it out there. Also, coming up tomorrow, we're going to catch up with Ty from Slab Factory. And for all of you card collectors, I know the National is next week, and Ty is going to that. So I'm sure we'll probably hit that up and discuss that. So Ty will be joining us for our bi-weekly chats coming up around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we are actually going to do an early version of Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow, because I wanted to get his input on Brandon Woodruff and his recovery, rehab, having the same surgery again. So I want to catch up with Dr. Crow. I wanted to get that while it's still kind of fresh in our minds. So Dr. Crow is going to be joining us for a Wednesday edition of Inside the Training Room. So, but your homework assignments, again, what are we doing here? Give me your best ones and our what ifs. So what are your what ifs for Wednesday? Final reminder, Brewers tonight, 6:40. Pregame coverage begins at 6:05 on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. 6:40, first pitch. Pregame, 6:05. Later on today, we've got a new episode of the Man Cave podcast, and I am actually going to be, it's going to be recorded here in about an hour. Mike Sittons, head football coach, Eau Claire North. We're just going to have a chat about youth sports, football, just, shooting the you-know-what. Just talking ball, talking youth sports. So don't want to miss that. That'll be available later on today in audio version like Spotify, Apple. Video version will be up on YouTube. So if you could be a friend, tell a friend, follow the Man Cave podcast on Apple and Spotify. If you could be so kind in the kindness of your hearts, a 5-star rating and a nice review on Apple because it helps the algorithms out there. And if you could click that bell or ring that bell on the YouTube page, if you can ring that bell on that YouTube page to subscribe to the page, that would be awesome too. So we can get those subscribers up. But yeah, that'd be fantastic. So that's coming later today. Going to record it about an hour. Then I got to scosh out for a meeting for the Kasper Classic, and then we'll upload it probably early this afternoon. But if you follow and subscribe, you'll get notified when it's popped up. So make sure you're doing that. All right. What else do we do? I cover everything that we're going to be doing tomorrow? I think so. It's going to be another busy Wednesday coming up. But hopefully we're talking about a series win for the Brew Crew. And then we'll be 1 week away from Packers training camp. Just saw the Jets revealed their whiteout helmet and jersey, and I guess they're going to be wearing that week 2 when they do go up against the Packers. Now, is that... Let me just double check some. Okay, so that means Green Bay is going to be wearing their greens when they play the Jets in New York. So Green Bay wouldn't be wearing their whites with that. They'd be wearing their home greens. All right, whatever. It's always kind of, yeah. I mean, Green Bay did that. That's what bugged me when Green Bay wears their whiteouts at home, especially when Chicago comes in place. That bugs the crap out of me when they do that. So, but all right, we just got a couple minutes left here. So again, tomorrow, what ifs? What are we doing here? We'll chat with Ty from Slab Factory. We've got Dr. Crow going to be joining us to talk some Brandon Woodruff shoulder issues for our Inside the Training Room, brought to you by Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Hopefully we're talking series win, and we'll talk some more football as we are going to be a week away from training camp, week away from the Packers opening up training camp. So we'll continue kind of our countdown to the top storylines, top players, top positions, top things that we're going to be watching for when it comes to Packers training camp, which will first practice officially begin a week from tomorrow. That's nuts. It's still nuts to say. So I know their rookies and veterans are going to be reporting a little bit earlier. Some are already getting going here today, reporting today, and going to be getting going here this week. So, kind of crazy. But, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Same place, same time. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. from the TDS Sports Talk studios. Fingers crossed we could talk about a Brewers series win. And maybe some more trade rumors out there. We'll talk to you then.